Hey guys, welcome back. It's Josh with the Financial Advisor Car Guy. This week is all about the Raptor. We're going to talk about some of the things that we just got done. If you remember last week, I kind of gave you the preface to this week. Basically, last week, Joe and I got together. Joe knocked the truck out of the park. He got a bunch of things fixed. I did also crawl inside the cab, remove the dash or remove the radio and the stereo, and replaced my fan that was clicking every time I was turning my heater and AC on and off. And so let me get the camera turned around and I'm going to show you guys kind of the tour and then what's more to come. It is a little bit darker under there than I realized, so bear with me, but we're going to go ahead and crawl under there. And so what you'll notice first and foremost is the new upper control arm. Now all the bushings and everything are included in this, so it's a direct swap. It was actually, Joe did it in no time at all. It's actually crazy. But everything was so loose, you know, so having all these new parts under here really tightened up the feel and the suspension on the truck. And so, I mean, if we look down here, you can see tie rods, inner outer tie rods, and the new boot right down there. And, you know, again, everything is nice and tight and clean. And yeah, I'm actually really impressed with the overall feel just driving the truck down the road. It does feel somewhat new again. And then getting underneath the front of the truck, you can kind of see, oh, no, you can't because the cover's back on, but the differential. The front diff has a new lube locker gasket and fluid in there. We used, let's see what it is. It's a 75 W90 gear fluid, and that's gonna work out real nice for us. So let me turn this camera around. So after Joe got all that stuff done, he popped the hood, and I probably could, maybe even should show you guys, but I don't have the hood popped, so we're gonna skip it. But right under here, there is a four-wheel drive valve, and I guarantee you, Joe, as you're watching this, you're laughing at me because I can't remember what the piece is called. But anyway, Joe realized that mine was faulty. So he had a spare, he went ahead and threw it on. And now my four-wheel drive should be working like a champ. Again, front diff was leaking, so now there's no longer a fluid leak. And everything, again, nice and tight and everything is good to go. The other couple things I did was I tinted my reflectors here. That was an easy one that took like 10 minutes and was no problem at all. I'll open the door, we're gonna climb inside. But before we do, I'm gonna show you guys. This is the old, switch. I'm trying to remember what it was called specifically, but it, you know, basically it clicked every time I started the climate control in the truck. Every time I started the truck, period, this thing would click nonstop for like 30 to 45 seconds. And it's been doing it for like 3 years. It's really been kind of an annoyance, but at the same time, I've now lived with it for so long that I just sort of was okay with it. I bought this part a couple years ago, and it's been sitting back here on my table. And anyway, Joe basically said, I'm gonna be under the truck working on it. You've got nothing more important to be doing than getting your heat working correctly. We're going into winter. So he made a valid point, and I broke down and moved some things around. I had a birthday party to go to and some stuff. So I made it work. I did go over, I spent a couple hours at Joe's, and part of the deal was I climbed in there and dismantled everything to replace this blower motor. I did need Joe's assistance. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell on camera, whatever, I'm 6'2", 240. I'm not like a small man. My hands aren't tiny either. And so there was one bolt, one screw I could not get to. It was just, it's on the back side. In fact, if this piece were mounted, it's like this back one, and it's kind of hidden, and you just can't get to it. And so Joe was a lifesaver. He was able to kind of finagle his way back in there, his hand through the glove box door, which again, I don't think I could have fit my arm and hand through there. So huge shout out to Joe. Thanks for that, man. And then he was able to then retighten the same bolt on the way out. But anyway, the way that worked, crawl up in here again. But basically, you know, if we're looking at the dash, I'll set the old one up here. Basically, I used a dash removal tool or a panel removal pry, and pop this piece and this piece just back. I didn't have to remove them all the way. I did pull the center console piece out here just because it made it a lot more accessible. But then this whole faceplate piece comes off. Then what's left is the CD changer and the screen. I had to remove the screen only, and behind the screen was what I needed to change, this little fan motor. So again, I mean, it probably took me less than 10 minutes to get to the problem. Once I got to this thing, the front bolt was really easy. It was just like an 8mm. Was able to back that out with ease, and then unhook the harness again with ease. That was not a problem at all. And then the back one was the problem, but then reassembly also only took like 10 minutes. And so relatively easy job. I feel like if I were to take it to Ford, I don't know what they would have charged me, probably a lot of money. You know, shop rates are $1 to $150, right? 100 to 150 an hour. And I had that job done in under an hour. Obviously, thanks to Joe, I couldn't get that last bolt out without him. So that was super helpful. But nonetheless, an hour or less. And so, you know, that's fine. But what all this did was really motivate me to really get the truck back in tip-top shape. You know, the clicking is now gone. My front suspension is a lot tighter. He's actually going to meet with me this evening. While he was under the truck, Joe discovered that my sway bar, my end link bushings were all shot. So we went ahead and ordered them. They came today. He's going to install them tonight. And he basically said, Josh, I don't even need to jack up the truck. I can just crawl under there and do it, you know, like 15, 20 minutes, and that we'll be back on the road. And then I need to get an alignment, you know, basically with all the new components and things under here, it needs to be aligned. You know, Joe did also rotate the tires, which was a huge thing. Very helpful. But again, now it's like, man, I'm looking around the truck really wanting to get it dialed in. So again, I tinted the little reflectors here. What else did I do? Oh, I started to sew my passenger seat. Now, this has been a common problem on F-150s, period. Not Raptors necessarily, but the 09 to like 14, 15 with power seats. This is a pretty common thing after I did some digging. But basically, not all the power seat controls worked any longer. I could recline the seat, but I couldn't bring it back forward. I could slide the seat back, but I couldn't bring it forward. The lumbar piece of the support would come out, but not in. And so I knew it was something to do with the switch. And so what I did to investigate this, you can kind of see here, this panel is off and the harness is exposed. But we're gonna come back over here to all my parts. And this is the panel, right? And it just clicks on. There's a couple of clips. Really, I didn't even have to force it off. It just popped right out. Then this cover goes on top of this, one way or another. This way, goes like this. And then the buttons click back on like that. And so anyway, the long and short of it is this all comes apart relatively easily. You get down to the circuit board, and everything that I read online, people were either like, okay, the circuit board needs to be replaced, or you need to clean the contacts. So I used this electronic cleaner, cleaned all the contact points, and it almost worked. It didn't work. Bottom of the bottom line is I had to order a new piece, and this was $12 on eBay, so very inexpensive fix, and it'll be here in like 3 days. So not a big deal, very easy fix, but I did spray the electronic cleaner on there, and then I started actually getting a little bit more feedback. So what I ended up doing was cleaning it, putting this back in the truck. I could then get at least the motor to click on when I was, when I was adjusting the buttons on here. I was getting a response from the truck. The seat still wasn't moving, but at least it was trying to engage. But it wasn't doing that before. So I'm very certain that this is the source of my problems. It also could be possible that the motor itself has gone bad, but I don't think that's it, because certain directions do work and still work. And I think it's kind of an all or nothing thing from what I read. So my best guess is a new switch controller here is going to be the problem, or going to be the fix to my problem. And again, 12 bucks, very inexpensive. And it took literally 1 minute, I think 1 minute, to pop that panel out, unclick it, and bring it over to the truck, to the back of the truck here, and pop it apart. Nothing to it. And then going back together, it's going to be the same. So that I also Googled, what does it cost to fix this thing? Because I was looking for remedies, not just the price. Everything I saw said basically to take it to any mechanic and have them fix it, diagnose it, and do whatever, $100 to $300. In fact, most were $200 to $300. And literally I'm going to fix it for like $12 and 10 minutes of my time. So stuff like that, if you guys can figure out how to fix it yourself and do your own research and whatnot, you can save a ton of money. It's incredible, ton of money. So a couple things that I still need to fix. Come around to the back part of the truck. I'm going to pop my tailgate here. And you are going to see I have this backflip piece. I'm going to flip this first one up. Actually, I won't because I've got parts here. Hang tight. Okay, move those out of the way. And then I'm going to pop this one up. Now the next one, this is my problem. The rail has fallen. So this should be up like that. And that's not the first time that's happened. I actually had the rail on this outer piece fall, and so I had to fix that. And I think on the farthest piece has also fallen, so I fixed that. Now it's the middle one. So it's just a matter of time. The design on these things, I don't know. Not great. It works. It still works. I mean, I can still pull the line and flip it one more time if I wanted to. But yeah, really what I need to do is just fasten it with some sort of hardware. What I did here, and I'll show you guys. Not super ideal, but I did put a nut and a bolt through it. So there's this one, and then there's one on the other side, actually right here in the front. So it's not a big deal. I guess that's the other end of the one. So it wasn't in there that it was fixed. That's the passenger side of the same one that now I need to fix on the driver's side. Cool. Okay. Whatever. No big deal. No big deal. Doesn't take long to fix. It's literally like drilling a hole through it and putting a nut and a bolt through it and fastening it all, getting it nice and tight. And I think the original way this goes is actually glue and then some screws. And honestly, I'm moving around a lot, sorry. But this is just like insulation stuff. And even this metal isn't very strong. So screws through that, really, it's just, eventually it's going to fail. And I think that's just the nature of the beast. But I do want to fix it because it drives me mad. Every time I try to put something in or out of there, I had some trash bags in there and trying to yank those trash bags out, of course it gets caught on that and whatever else. And so, no, I need to fix that. So that's really at the top of my list, and that's just a few minute job. I can do that anytime. The other thing is a little bit more, I'll call it severe, but not. This truck, when I bought it, came with a clear bra, and you can kind of see it. Now, where I'm having problems is that the bra is starting to peel. So if I bring you in here, you can see, it's just starting to lift and peel. And up on the roof, it's exceptionally bad along the back edge. So really what I need to do is peel that all off because it looks like trash. Now, I don't really want to because I like that it protects. But Joe and I were talking about this, and you can kind of see some of the seams aren't so straight anymore. The film has started to shrink. It contracts over time, and that's part of the deal. It can also start to yellow and discolor, and it hasn't done that. It's actually been, maybe in this lighting it looks a little bit funky, but in the sunlight or outside, unless you know it's there, you might not even notice it. So it's not got any sort of yellowing or changing of tinting or coloring. So it's held up really well. It was a really high quality film, and the truck is 14 years old almost. So, I gotta say, I gotta give credit where credit's due. Whoever put this film on did a great job, and the quality of the film is really pretty good. So I think what I might do to buy some time, and this is where I kind of would like your feedback, is do I peel this back just a hair and then take a razor blade and cut off what's peeling to buy time, right? Because this piece is fine. It comes down now. Again, it may be shrinking, and so I've got little bits of gaps and things like that. But for the most part, it's still doing its job. It's still protecting, and that's the name of the game. So it would be a lot less money if I didn't go and replace it. I could also just peel it off and, I don't know, leave the paint raw for a while. Time will tell. But I would like your feedback on that. Is that something that you think is important enough to the truck that, maybe I don't peel it and I just trim the edges, or I peel it and go get it redone? I don't know. You tell me. But I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but that's all I have for you guys this week. Like, looking around, is there something more? So, what's on the to-do list? I need to fix the backflip. I need to put in the power, the controls, drew blank for a minute. The controls on the power seat, and then figure out what to do about the clear bra. Everything else for now is working and in great shape. I do need to wash the truck. We'll talk about that for a minute, actually. Joe has a couple of mods done to his truck that I hadn't seen yet. And so he asked me to go take a look. And actually that wasn't even it. I asked if I could go take a look. So I walk over to his truck. He opens the driver door and says, hop on in, take a look, and he's got this really cool retrofitted 2nd gen gear shifter. And hopefully he doesn't mind that I shared that, because he's the first person to do it and do it successfully. And he's done a great job. Well, I hadn't seen it yet. And so I jump up there and I'm looking at it. And while I'm sitting there, I realize, man, his truck is like showroom clean inside. And this is a dude that takes his truck mudding, 4-wheeling. They go out in the desert. There's dust, there's dirt. His truck is impeccable. It's so clean. So I make that comment to him and his wife. And I said, you guys keep your truck so nice. How in the world do you keep it so clean? Well, the long and short of it was, I felt that I probably should do the same. This is a fantastic truck, right? I used to tell my sister when we were teenagers, a clean car is a happy car. As goofy as that is. She was always kind of a mess, and her car was always a mess. And I'd get on her about it. Like, listen, you need to clean this thing out. It's filthy. Or I would help her with I would do an oil change for her. I'd pop the hood and there's just dirt and dust everywhere under the hood. Well, fast forward like 25 years, life is busy. We have kids, we have jobs, we have all these things, and I can't spend every waking moment detailing the bay of my engine. But what I should do is take a little bit better job and clean it once in a while. I've been far too neglectful of this truck, and it's starting to show. Things are starting to wear. This whole video is a great example of everything that this truck needs. Even down to this bedlined section. You guys probably remember, like 3 years ago, I repainted that because it was starting to fade and it was starting to, the paint was starting to wear away. Well, it's doing that again, and it's not pretty. So I do need to pick up a can of touch-up and mask it and hit it again. I'll do that at some point soon, but so just little things here and there. A really nice detail inside and out would do this truck really well. So that's also on the to-do list, but I really probably need to step up my game a little bit and drive a cleaner truck. So that's where I'm going to leave you guys today. Comment in below and let me know how often you guys wash your cars and clean your cars. I feel like these two cars see it a lot more. Those cars are always being washed. It's like I drive them twice and then clean them, or wash them every drive on the Mustang. Truck, I drove the truck for I think there was a period of time, honestly, I didn't wash it or vacuum it for 9 months, maybe even a year. A year. It's my daily driver. I don't know. It's not designed to impress people, but at the end of the day, it's a really nice truck and I really should take better care of it. And I do want it to last longer. And what did I say, right? A clean car is a happy car. I want my truck to be nice and clean and treat me right and treat me well. I need to reciprocate. I need to keep it nice. I need to keep it clean. And so I'm going to try to do a better job about that. So thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit that notification bell. But most importantly, remember, may every investment you make be a good one. Till next time.